welcome back to Bump Love. Guys, thank you so much for the love that you've shown Beverly and Barbara. Oh my God, Bump Lovers, give yourselves a huge hug for the love. Thank you so much actually to Bump Love 1.0, Rachel, Rosette, Pumla, Angie. Guess who we have here? Beverly and Barbara for Bump Love 2.0. I'm excited. Ladies, how are you feeling?
Thrilled.
Thrilled.
Yeah. Excited.
How are you feeling?
Thrilled. I am thrilled and ready.
I love it.
Excited and jittery.
I love all the emotions, but that said, kids are on holiday. I wanted to know, what are you guys, like, what are you, like, what, any memories that you have from your childhood during the holiday time?
I think mine is how every holiday we had to have a meeting with my dad, everybody. He would go through your report. There were graphs. He had graphs of your performance. The meeting took about an hour, and he'd plot. You remember, he had like a sharp pencil, and he'd plot. You had 60 in math last time, you have 75 now. Why do you have 50? So every time it was your turn to go for the meeting, you're like, oh yeah,
wait,
here we go again.
You'll be meeting each of you separately?
Individually, because everyone had their separate graph. And what is so stuck in my memory is the sharp pencil.
Clearly. Did it help? You're brilliant.
Yeah, it did. It did, because every time you remembered, you're like, there's like a pencil waiting for me. So you studied hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mine were diversely different. I loved my childhood so much. Wearing shorts, being a tomboy, riding bikes and roller skates with my two brothers and the neighborhood children. Tomboy, loved it. Playing with marbles, roller skates, going to get ice cream. That was the childhood I remember. Well,
now our roller skates, do you think she was doing
Duel was not there where we were, but I appreciate the contribution. There was definitely no duel where we were, but that's what I remember, and I loved it. All the children, especially June, July, August.
Yeah.
That was it.
Where were you
that
raised?
Holiday.
Not here in Uganda, were you?
Of course I was, born and bred.
Roller skates.
Anyway.
But that's the childhood I remember. It was beautiful, and I loved it. Maybe I should have had a stricter, more academic-oriented holiday as a child. But that's what I loved about it, being a tomboy and just playing on bikes, roller skating. Oh my goodness.
So holidays were
Free
about playing
and
for you.
wild.
Yeah.
Yes. Until secondary school.
Yeah.
Until secondary school.
That's when it became academic?
Yes,
or?
it became more academic inclined.
Yeah.
Because there was always this O-level exam to pass, and then
The competition at school.
Yes, the competition at school. The fun went.
Yeah. I was raised in Makerere, and the way Makerere works is that all our parents are purely academic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be in general, really, because you have professors, you have whatever. So my dad was a warden of the notorious Nsibira.
Oh, but
Then
Northcote. Then it was Northcote.
When Nsibira is not synonymous with being.
Being notorious.
No,
Sorry, with
Northcote was, yes.
the notorious Northcote. And you see, the way Makerere was, everybody was raised by everybody. Like it was like one big, huge compound with different houses. So you'd enter each home. Every home was your home. Every parent knew every child. Every child knew every parent.
I like that.
They would find you, even if you're walking like you're in at Ministry of Technology, Faculty of Technology. The parent would find you and say, "What are you doing here? Your dad is looking for you the other side."
Like that.
Even if you run down to vet and try and hide down in vet, they would find you there. It was such a big, huge community, and playing. We played. Holiday, I don't remember anything other than playing. We really played, and we had these small groups. So as we played duel, we didn't have roller skates
And hopscotch.
even we didn't have it. As we say, what was called kwepena, please?
No,
hopscotch.
Where we drew.
And you
drew
actually-
the squares and you jump, throw a
Yes.
ball, jump,
Hop,
throw a
jump,
ball.
hop.
No, they are not at.
You played that one?
Hopscotch.
With your roller skates.
You drop chalk on the
Yes,
floor.
or charcoal. Okay.
Chalk on the,
That's why
on
using
the
sticks,
ground.
please.
And then
That's why using sticks. I'm telling you. Okay, it wasn't called
hopscotch with
kwepena, but
sticks,
was
no.
in the ground.
Oh yes, you pile the sticks and make the little squares.
Us would use them to draw, please.
Wow.
Mr. Mlondo, is not where
Different
you grew
strokes.
up. Different
Same game.
Same game, different strokes. Yeah. So that's
Well, we enjoyed our childhood. We can say that.
yeah. But I wonder if that's what we allow our children to do these days. Like, is that what holiday looks like?
You don't want them
for
to get dirty.
Mine, well, we'll discuss that.
Anyway, a few weeks ago, Twitter was on fire for X was on fire for a tweet that went out from a one Mutuzo saying essentially saying children are a setback. And so I was wondering if what you feel about the question or the notion that children might be a setback. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Yeah, I'm Baba's Hadija. I'm a mother of one. She's a baby girl. She's 5 years old. No, my child is not a setback in my life. She's just an amazing child. I was an amazing child as well, though stubborn.
I think having a child isn't a setback because children are blessings from God, and whenever you have a child, it's really a blessing because sometimes many people would like to have children and they really don't have that great chance. Because now to me, I think having children is really a blessing and it isn't a setback. Those days I used to spend most of my days with my dad. We used to do chores together with my dad and it was really fun. I enjoyed that, moving out with my friends, my little friends, very many things that we used to do and I enjoyed it.
My name is Simarita Kendra. Yes, I have two beautiful girls. It has never been a setback. It's just actually a full-time job which I would love to do for the rest of my life. Growing up as a child, it was not easy, but it was enjoyable because I had both my parents. They didn't have much, but at least they made us feel like we were important. We enjoyed our childhood. We are 5 as children, but we never lacked. The little they had to provide.
How much time do we have?
We have tea.
Books have been written, documentaries have been made.
Yeah.
With children, they're such an experience and every day is different. Right. And to say that they're a setback has heavy implications. Right. But I do appreciate the sentiment that they're compromises parents make to fit the children in. And therefore, what a question. How much time do we have? Can we break this down? Because what a question. Yeah. You want to know whether we feel they're a setback.
Yeah,
or not.
Yeah.
They are part of who we're always meant to be. Right. I believe that if you are where you are in this place, you couldn't have reached here without children. That's what I believe. Because if you have to reach anywhere in life, everything that has come your way was part of it. Right. And therefore children are part of it. But because we are emotional beings and spiritual beings, sometimes we don't understand that everything around us was a part of it. Right. We knew that children came with changing diapers. So why do we get shocked that we have to change diapers? Right. We wanted the children, but we didn't want to change the diapers. But you see, the children came with the diapers. You enjoy breastfeeding and watching them look up in your eyes and falling
put up their
asleep.
leg.
The connection.
Their leg.
You don't know that comes with
You know their leg, the way they touch your boob.
But you know that they bite you?
Right.
How many of you, raise your hand, if you were bitten by your baby when you're breastfeeding? Everyone. Did you enjoy it and say, I thank you, this was part of the joy?
We
No.
actually told bite them back so that they stop biting.
I know, right.
No, and so we forget that everything was part of it, you see?
Yeah.
And therefore, to say that a setback is to miss the whole picture, but it's to appreciate that we don't enjoy everything that they come with.
Right.
When your best friend carried the baby and the baby spit on them, did they say, oh, it's okay, I love your child? They didn't. They were like, oh my goodness, my new blouse, my new blouse, you see? But that's all part of the package, isn't it?
Right.
Therefore, they have so much joy, but there's so many things that come with it that may not be so joyful, but we would never be where we are as mothers without them, I believe, yeah.
So when I saw this tweet, I remember going and checking and asking, who are the most successful people?
Yes.
And what percentage don't have children? They have children.
Yes.
You understand? So I'm like, oh, hold up. Where are all those that have decided not to have children and have decided that the reason is because they are a setback and not going to have children, and so they are going to fly to the moon? The one who's flying to the moon, who wants to go to Mars,
Has children.
has
Five
children.
children, I think.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, setback from what exactly? From
setting
where?
the
What standard are we using?
But let's appreciate what they mean.
Friends.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you for sugarcoating it. Everyone has danced around the answer and not said, but I'll tell you, nothing humbles a woman like pregnancy.
Right.
This setback starts right from pregnancy.
Right.
The first 3 months,
Right.
you wake up every morning and it's like a truck run over you.
Right.
You're not as fast as you used to be. You can't do everything you used to.
Right.
You've slowed down.
Yeah.
The last 3 months, that truck that ran over you comes back with his little brother. And it's like you're carrying those two trucks around everywhere with you.
Yeah.
Tell me about setbacks, guys.
Right.
Yeah?
So, because I was going to say, and what I found out, like when I was doing that research, so the successful people have children. However, the percentage of women
Declines.
declines.
number of children.
So, in terms of a setback, yes, for women, it looks like it, especially when you look at them in comparison to their male counterparts.
Yes.
When you have, when you go with your chibuto for a job interview,
Everyone is saying
I was
right
like,
now.
sorry. So if you had a career trajectory of like, I'm going to be the head of by this time, the child will set you
You have
back.
to make certain decisions.
Most likely for a woman. So I asked Brian. I said, Brian, do you think like the children have set you back? Like the whole family has set me back.
Leave the children.
Leave the children, even you. Because there's so many things that I would want to do, but because of your existence, I hold back.
I have an idea. Stay away for 6 months so they can
Then
do
we
those
see.
things. And then come back.
It's not about your presence
Be kind.
in the house.
Be
It's
kind.
about your total absence.
in his life. As Mrs.
Now he'll be there wondering, where is she? Has
What
they
is she
eaten?
doing?
Let me send money.
You will still not be able to make those decisions
go.
because you've not left the world.
Right.
You've just left where they are.
Yeah.
And in humbling, this whole thing of what a man can do, a woman can do, until you get those double lines on the pregnancy test. Friend, the setback
different.
is real. Yes. You can't move as fast as you
But
really
and yet I
could.
appreciate where Beverly
Exactly.
was coming from, that you see, in the grand scheme of things, if you didn't have your children right now, because you have a whole 7,
Thank you very much.
if you didn't have them, where would you be? Most likely, and I'm just going to make a guess, most likely you're happy that they're in your life and you're happy for where you're at, because had you been where you want to be, there's a certain emptiness you would feel without their presence.
The truth is, for me, there's a certain opening of my world that happened with each child. I was lost for a long time.
Yes.
People don't believe that. They always
Yes.
thought I was always confident and jovial. When my firstborn appeared in my life, I didn't sleep for 2 days. Maybe it was the morphine. Because I was like,
Abana,
what
morphine
is this?
is amazing.
Because I said, God, what have you given me? It was so...
I got morphine.
Yes,
Morphine was
but
amazing.
it was because of that child that I said there's something bigger. I have to give something to the world. And I pioneered a poetry award that no one had ever done.
Wow.
The Beverly Nambozo Poetry Award. It was because of my daughter Zan. I'm telling you the
Right.
truth. I was single until 30. I had my child at 31 or 32. I've always been a poet, but something happened. I said, I have to do something bigger. And I started this award to promote and create a platform for Ugandan women poets.
Right.
When the second child was born, I was doing my master's. I remember being in England and I was pregnant, throwing up. They were showing me their fene, 3 pieces for £3. I was trying to explain to them, I come from a country where this, no, good fene here. Jackfruit, they called it. But
Which is its
when I was
name,
in
Beverly.
Uganda completing my final essay, I was breastfeeding my second born. I got a distinction.
Wow.
With the third and fourth born, my poetry award was now going all over the country for festivals. That time they were infants and I was breastfeeding them. So I delegated. The team took them around Mabira Forest and Sippy Falls. That was with the children. Something happened and made me feel, but also it's because I felt, okay, so this may be a setback, let me push harder, you see? So that's the thing, I thought, but if I had not had children, there would have never been a Beverly Nambozo Poetry Board, a Babishai Poetry Festival. Maybe I would have done my master's probably, but for me, I said, this has happened. I'm going to push harder and I'm going to show them that anything can be done.
Yeah.
And
Even
yes,
with the presumed
with the presumed setback. And so people tell me a lot, you've never changed, you're still doing the things you want to do, but they don't know. I still...
What happens in the background?
Yes. This morning, for example, my second born is on holiday and she is at home alone. I had to make sure everything was ready. Are you okay? I just had to text my husband. Check on her, make sure she's fine. She's 12 years old. Of course she's okay. And we live in a neighborhood where people can come and check in, but still, so is that a setback or is it, I had to do so many things before, see the other two off, and then make sure she's okay. Is that a setback? Because then I could have
But
been
you're here.
But I'm here.
But you made it here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is that then? I don't know. What is that a setback or is it?
No. And I feel like now she's 12. There's no setback.
Yes.
The setback happens the first 4 years of a child's life. The first year, you're pregnant. The second year, your life revolves around them. You leave the house
absolutely does.
and you're calling the caretaker every, say, 30 minutes. Has she eaten? Has she slept? Has she? And then they just make a statement like, ever since you left, she's not touched the bottle. And you will turn back. And it doesn't matter where you are
the
going.
meeting, I know,
Stop
being there.
wherever you are.
Yes, yes.
Women have gone back home with half done hair, half braided hair, because the maid has made that one statement.
Right.
Since you left, she's not touched.
Even through red lights.
Yes. But then again, Manuela talked about, the story and having children and a benefit to it. I feel like my children have fulfilled a certain part of me that nothing else would. Not money, not love, not even praying. That there's that part of you that God created and knew that only a child would do. That happiness, that joy. Like you watch parents at nursery school sports days.
Yes.
And the child is just running around with an egg on a
Hopping
spoon.
and the egg falls.
But the mother, if she's like Manuela, is screaming, egg, spoon.
Don't go to nursery.
That joy.
5 times.
Yes. Nothing else can give you that joy.
Nursery. It was Bianca and Blake Sports Day just last week. Of all the mothers, I was the one on the end point. Good Lord. Yes, and she won.
Only.
Yes.
Only. I've also watched my daughter Nema. She's extremely competitive and I've watched her win races. Guys, the last time, she's 11. I've watched her throughout.
I
had tears.
It's an incredible
Nothing
Nothing
prepares
beats
you
that.
for the joy and fulfillment
don't
that
get me
parenthood is
started.
going to give you.
Now,
Nothing does.
my last born, Amahoro, her sports day, there was a race where the mothers, so it was a dressing up race, they put on their dresses, and then the children wore their backpacks, right?
Yeah.
The mothers then had to carry the children across the rest of the track. Oh, Mrs. Nsengiva came ready. I was the second.
Come on.
I was the second. Please, ready. I have to show I told them, you can do the best you can do it. Let me also show them I can do it. Oh, please. The joy I felt.
Yes.
Literally, it's like, shoot.
So I think
we are not
setbacks
going to be
aside,
third or fourth.
there's
Not
a
good
joy
enough.
to
Yeah.
it.
There is.
However, back to the question.
Yeah.
They are
There
setbacks.
are.
Will not run
how
away
do you
from
find
us.
them? But don't make it feel like
That's all about
burdensome.
it.
Phrase it properly. Don't make it seem, oh my goodness, had I a choice, I wouldn't want, no.
Yeah.
You were about to say something.
Yes, no, I like what you said. You'd sentimented a bit earlier, and you'd said that because you knew that in the back of your mind that
Yes.
children have the potential to be a setback or
Yes.
to be viewed
A
as a
challenge,
setback,
yes.
you
push harder.
you'd push
Yes.
twice as
Yes,
hard.
twice. I
because
absolutely
I'll,
did.
I'll be honest
Yes,
with you,
yes,
bump love
yes.
is because
There you
of
go.
Your mother
Blake.
story.
The cradle
There you
is because of Blake. So
see?
everything that
There you
people look
go.
at me and go like, oh my God, Manuela, you inspire me. What was as a result of
The womb. Yes.
presumed
Yes.
setback.
Setback,
Yeah.
yes.
So for me, I actually don't see them as a setback.
Yeah.
I see them as a push. Where you say, okay, you have the ability to set me back for 3 months. You have the ability to set me back for a year.
After.
When I come back,
So what you're saying
when I come,
that motherhood awakens something within us, without which would probably be running around with an
circles?
emptiness you're trying to fill.
Yes.
But once it happens, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
something else is birthed
Yeah.
in you.
So essentially, you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Is this child going to be a setback,
Or-
or are they going to be my
Yeah, is the
catapult?
story going
Yeah,
to
are they
be
going to be?
different?
Are they going to catapult me? Are they going to cause me to do what I want to do,
Yes.
or are they going to hold me back from what I
Yes.
want to do? I know a mom who went and pursued because a child came during the time of her masters.
Yes.
So she went to pursue both, 2 masters.
She said, let me.
She said that because you set me back, quote unquote.
Let me now.
When I come to study, I'm going to do 2
Yes.
masters and then a PhD. So now she walks around with them and
Yes.
she has her children with her. So you're the one who makes the decision
Yes.
whether
Yes, you
this
make
child
the
will be a
decision.
setback or not.
So do you think those decisions would have been made without the children? Because I always believe they give us the impetus to become this magnificent person. How do you feel about women who genuinely decide to give everything and forget their own goals to look after the children? Do we fault them? Do we guide them? Do we have a right to be part of their lives? Or it's not really judging, because there's some who have lost their light. And I know may have experienced losing our own light when they feel it's too much, because my 3rd and 4th were born in 2017 and 2018. You have never breastfed 2 children at the same time.
Right.
Yes, please.
Right.
I did.
Right.
I did. And that's when I felt, okay, this is the biggest challenge of my life with children.
Right.
What? Then I was homeschooling the eldest 2. We had a teacher who'd come and teach Chinese. I was losing my mind. My younger sister was getting married.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind. Do you understand?
Yes.
I was losing my mind. And our housekeeper came 4 days of the week
Only.
only.
Right.
So what do we want to tell them anything? Or have they really decided, or have they just resigned? Because there's being resigned and there's also making a decision. What is it?
I feel like everybody has a different story,
Yeah.
a different calling,
Yeah.
Right.
and a different season. Our lives are in seasons.
Great.
So it could be that season, that's the best decision she can make. And I look at motherhood as, womanhood, as juggling balls. We're juggling different balls at the same time.
What do we call those people who juggle?
What do we call
You asked me.
what
Was
do we
I
call them?
lying?
Guys, what do we call those people who juggle?
Jugglers. You wanted a fancy word.
I just feel like jugglers is pedestrian, but anyway. Yeah, so I feel like we're juggling balls all the time.
Right.
You're a wife, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a granddaughter. We have
Sister.
we have civic duty in church. You are running a business or an employee, and then you become a mother. Some of those balls are rubber.
Yeah.
Some of those balls are crystal. In
Some
the
are
first summer glass, in the first 4 years of a child's life, those balls are glass.
Yes, so fragile.
At any given moment, we're dropping a ball.
Right.
So we're here filming the show. That means that we've dropped the ball on our businesses right now.
Right.
But those are rubber balls.
Yes.
When
Right.
we leave here, we'll pick them up.
Yes.
If I had a 1-month-old baby and I had to leave and go to America or whatever and do my PhD for 5 years without the baby, I've dropped a glass ball.
Right.
I've dropped a glass ball.
Right. That's
Shattered the
powerful.
whole shelf,
Right.
actually.
All the balls are down.
Oh, the whole glass
Everything is down.
cabinet
Yes.
is shattered on the
Yes.
ground, my
Right.
So
friend.
I feel like for those mothers who sacrifice
Yes.
and sit down
Yeah.
and decide to look after their children,
Yes.
they've chosen to hold the glass ball
Yes.
Right.
with 2 hands. I mean, the rest of us
Yes.
hold with 1 because you're still working. You're
Yes.
juggling the rest of them here.
But that's the thing. Should we say sacrifice? Like, let me. Is it being sacrificial means let me carry this burden, woe unto me? Or should we say let's lift them? They've made the decision. Let them go with
Yeah.
it because they're still full and complete.
Yes.
We shouldn't. And when you say that working women have them in one hand, what if I have them in both? What if I am working, but I'm still carrying my children in both hands? Is that
Time.
possible?
No.
Because of the time constraints.
Time. It's
Yeah.
time. And when we're not going to
Yeah.
play around it.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time. You don't
can't-
have as much.
Yes. You're
It's
working,
true.
say, even if you say you're going to work 4 hours, those
It's
4 hours could have been
exhausting.
spent with the child. But when you come back, another 2, you're tired. You spend 2 hours in traffic, and then you get home and you're like, first wait, you tell the nanny, first hold
me
on,
sit
let me shower,
and
let me
breathe.
sit, let me have a cup of tea. Another 2 hours are gone.
Right.
So you can't say
So
you're
it's really
holding it
making
with
decisions.
both.
What decision are you going to make? Own the decision.
Yes.
Whatever
Right.
decision
Yes.
you've made, own it.
So I have a friend who made this decision to stay home. And every time I see her, I want to parade her. Like I want to put her like on a pedestal
I know that friend.
for everybody to watch. When you say that you are going to stay, you put in the work. It's not fair for your child to come out and they look like mine, me who didn't have time. It's just not fair. I feel like it's not fair. I feel like it's not fair for your child to be having the same challenges that mine has because you have more time. You're with them
Or
all
for
the
your
time.
home to look like
Or
mine.
for my home to, thank you. I'm like, dear, since you decided to stay, assist us please, make us look good because you can't be in the same, you can't look the same
Yes.
as the one who has decided to do 3 PhDs and 2 masters. And there has to be a distinction between your child and your children. And I remember, like now for her, she said, she's actually called Helga, Helga Antale. She said, like for example, she does a lot of stuff on YouTube, and she says that you can find like 13 views, 30 views. And one time I was having a conversation with her, I said, but you're not into this thing. What is this about? And she said, because I want to leave a legacy for my children and my children's children. They will find their great-grandmother's thought on the topic X. I was like,
How powerful.
wow.
Yeah. She's thinking 3
She's thinking
generations.
3 generations, 4 generations, 5 generations.
How many generations are you thinking?
You do click.
You're thinking of school fees of next
Ah,
time.
please, I'm on the right time. You get.
Glad I'm not alone. Huh?
So, no, you're not alone. We are over here.
Yes.
But you see, you need
But
moms
that's so
like
important,
her,
yes.
who have decided that they're going to stay home, to take that role as seriously and not look at it as, you get to spaces where you find these moms and there's, me, I'm just a stay-at-home mom.
Just.
Yes.
Please, come wear you should see Olga when she's going for an
Wear your
event.
crown.
Crowns. So I'm a
Homemaker.
proud home
Yes.
maker and stay home. Well, so she carries it with so much pride and owns it. So she really
owns it.
owns.
She gives it a good name.
She gives it a good name, and for me that's the thing that I would say for those moms. In terms of, what would we say to them? I feel like we are talking about the topic from up here.
Yes.
When we look into our lives,
Yes.
are there things that we've put on hold or postponed
Yes.
or even just downright said it won't happen because of our children?
How much time do we have?
How much time do we have? Come on, Barbara.
Because I feel like I need to write a letter to my children and say, dear,
Dear first one and then second
when you
one.
came. So I feel like something's lose out.
Right.
You
Yes.
lose.
Yes.
Mine is my social life changed.
Yes,
Right.
true.
A lot,
True that.
a lot. The first 5-6 years of my children's lives, I hardly went out, hardly saw people, because I felt like every time I went out to work, I'm cheating them of time.
Right.
So I made up for it with every single moment that I had.
Right.
So friendships suffered,
Right.
because friendships is time.
Right.
Time, engagement, and sacrifice. Friendships suffered, business suffered. There are jobs I wouldn't take.
Right.
Like
Up
which
country.
businesses?
I'm an event
personal-
planner.
yes.
Yes, I'm an event
Alright.
planner. So if an event was out of town,
Yes.
for a number of years I
Oh,
didn't take
You
it.
intentionally did not take
I
it.
intentionally didn't
because
take
of the
it because
children.
it meant that I'll be away from them 2 days before the event, then the event, then the day after the event.
And you're
So
exhausted as well when you return.
when you come back, you're exhausted. They're bottle feeding. They've not eaten. They're what, and they were quite temperamental.
Right.
So no, work lost,
Yes.
social life lost, relationships lost.
Right.
Yeah.
I missed 2 trips to Cape Town. I was working in a women's NGO.
Dear children.
No, yes, dear children. It was interesting. In 2008, I was working in a women's NGO regional. It was wonderful. My husband and I used to go to every national park. When you don't have children, you have so much money. Disposable income.
Yes.
So for me, I'll speak about financially.
Now, for me, that's why I was.
We went to every national park in this country. It was so beautiful. Even when Zan was born, we went because it was easier to carry. However, I had a trip to Cape Town, October 4th, 2008. That's the day she was born. And so I had to get it over to somebody else in the office. My 4th born, I had another trip to Cape Town, which I couldn't take because I was pregnant with a 4th. I'm putting all pregnancies on hold until I get to Cape Town. Womb, listen to me, uterus.
Talk about setbacks.
But
Anyway.
financially, yes. But then maybe I straddle both worlds, because sometimes I do believe I'm a stay-at-home mom, because conventionally I don't go to an office and I don't leave the house at 8.
You work at home.
I work at home, but then again, I'm not the Martha Stewart, you understand? So I am not the type, find me mopping and singing. I will not do the Mary Poppins song. I will grumble. I will be at home, but I will be grumbling. Yet I'm owning my decision, but I'm grumbling. Leave me alone to grumble. Can you see? Can you imagine? Yes, but I made the decision to be at home because my work, I'm a writer, you see, so I can be at my laptop.
Yes, you can.
And I can be. However, when I'm aware that my husband is always out because he's able to, I do feel, imagine if it was me doing that. Sometimes I wish you could trade places more often.
Right.
Because there are times when I feel I've actually been at home all week.
Right.
Oh my goodness. And then others say, you're so blessed to be at home, because the thing is I continue doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Writing
Even when
and
you're
having
at
online
home.
training, public speaking. But still I do believe that sometimes I wish I could trade and be out more.
Right.
But did I mention that I missed Cape Town twice? Did I mention that? Did I mention I missed Cape
in
Town
your
twice?
Dear children, you mentioned this.
Did I talk to my uterus to behave?
Yes,
All right, I'll
Until you
stop
go to
there.
Cape Town. Yeah. Real life.
Real life, real life. It's true. So I really wish I did have something to say. You people, I got married to a man called Brian Mulondo. No child will hold you back. That's Mr. Mulondo for you.
Whoa.
He's like, what do you need? I'll be with them. Next. I'm like, no, honey. You see that? He's like, no, go. Brian, if any opportunity I had to blame our children, Brian refused our children to be any reason for me not doing what I'm supposed to do. There was a time I remember, because I had just given birth to Bianca, I think. She was, 2 years old, I think. I was going to the States, 6 months. And I was like, Banange, Brian, the time for application. Actually, I first applied when she was 1 year old. Blake was 2. I applied for the Mandela Washington Fellowship.
Oh, yes.
But by force.
Yes.
I told Brian, I said, oh, no, there's this thing. But anyway, I can't apply. He's like, why? Hey, Brian, I'm pregnant. I've just given birth. Because I had just given birth when the proposal, because I think they start, because I went 2017.
Yes.
But I had also applied in 2016. But the notification for application came in 2015 when I was pregnant with Bianca.
Oh.
because I gave birth to her March, so I was pregnant at that time. The call for applications came.
Yeah.
Or I had just given birth, I don't remember which. So I'm there like, no, I can't. He's like, Manuela. He called Amanda Onapito and said, Amanda, this chick didn't want to apply. What? Please, do it. Took Bianca away, said, do the application. And you know, you have a cesarean section, you have what? Yes. Brian is like, do the application. Yes. He made sure I had said, send me, how far with your responses? You know, when you're tired, you're sick, you're exhausted, you have sleep deprived. Meanwhile, at that time, Blake used to get that thing that they keep saying the children get sick when they know, when they know another sibling is coming. Oh. Blake was sick.
Oh, of course he was.
So I was there, and then I was working with the bank, and Brian is like, you will apply. He informed me that I would apply for it. I failed, and I told him, Banange, and they didn't give me next year. I'm like, really? Oh. So here I was happy that it didn't go through. Because he's like, no, we'll try again next year. I was like, really?
Yes.
He looked for that application. Like, it's back, Manuela, it's back. Apply.
The decisions we make do definitely. I'm applying for a 3rd degree. I'm only looking for distance learning, fully funded PhDs.
Yes. How many?
There's so
you are
many.
Not leaving home.
Yeah.
There's so many that are funded, but you have to live there, and that's 4 to 6 years. So I'm fully aware that I'll only apply for those that are distance learning. Right. So that's probably a compromise, right?
Yes.
It's just something I will.
Yeah, that you
I keep
do
telling
as a mom.
Emma, should we? Maybe we should go. But then I'm like, oh my goodness, the school. So I'm consciously aware of this, and it's just second nature. It's not even. You see,
you're not even thinking.
I'm not even aware that maybe a setback. It's just something that I'm fully. If I don't see there's a distance, I even email them. You should see the emails. Thank you, Beverly, for your interest in this.
And you know what's interesting? When I told Brian about this, he was like, why are you doing distance learning? Then I was like, no, you see, the kids is like, you either go with them or you can leave them here. Why are you looking for distance learning? And I remember telling him, you know, Brian, I'm going to apply. I'm going to do my master's. Maybe when Bianca is around 12. He's like, what nonsense is that?
How old will you be?
How old will you be? He'd tell me, no, go and look for. I feel like for me, having a partner who understands and knows the potential risk
of not allowing
of the children being a reason as to why a woman doesn't do well. Brian
it's dangerous.
He doesn't allow me.
I think what I hear you say is that the level of setback also depends a lot on the support system you have around.
That's true.
Our support system is parents, siblings, partners. Yes. If your partner chooses that this is our thing. It's not motherhood, it is parenthood.
Yes. They take it on.
Then you can do so much. You can do so many other things. Yeah, so I think that setback, support system.
That's really interesting. When my master's was distance learning and I'd go and come back, I remember when I was 6 weeks away from Zion, you people, the taxi ride from the airport was not fast enough. Do you understand? Please, I don't know, the highway wasn't there then.
Somewhere.
The mom, even before we reached the gate, Zion was standing outside with Emma. You people out, I hadn't seen my baby, firstborn for 6
weeks.
And I was pregnant with the second. 6 weeks. And that year I traveled 3 times. With young Zion, pregnant with, I always saw my second-born, you traveled the most. Because I traveled with all of them, pregnant with all of them. I told Zion, you traveled to this country, the second-born, I traveled the most, so you're going to be so international. And every time, you people, I was like, I need. And so maybe the support system was like, well, I have nothing else to do. Who's going to look after the children? But the thing is, he's an adoring father. That helps. An adoring father. And I know if a fully funded one comes, we'll decide, are we going all 4? The children, all the 6 in the family? Let me tell you, whatever decision you make, something always works out. Hasn't something happened and you feel, how am I going to go through this? It's inconceivable. And then it works out. You build your capacity to manage any situation. And that's what children do. They enable you to build your capacity that you never thought was fathomable. You're able to go through the most horrific of situations that seemed blurry and impossible. And you realize you came out the other side all right. That's the great thing with children.
So, setbacks aside, I think we've had enough of setbacks and no setbacks on this side.
Not
allowed setbacks.
Not allowed
Yes.
setbacks
Yeah.
on this side of the coin. The Bible says sons are a heritage and children are a reward from the Lord. With this reward that we have received, do you feel like you've got some blessings that have come up with it? You know, there are these sayings that every child comes with their own blessing. So even if you have 5, every one of the 5, do you feel like you've received blessings from the children? And what could they be?
You know, I see Bianca behind us like,
Yeah.
we were a big blessing. Yes. You know, I've had, especially Muslim friends are the ones that say that a lot. Like each child, what do they call it? Rizik. They say rizik. Yes. And I'll be honest, like I don't think I've ever been there and I'm just like, that was Bianca's blessing. That was Blake's blessing. Maybe because I was going through the motions of being a mother, because I usually hear it from men. So maybe because I was going through the motions of being a mother, and maybe I should have asked Brian and said, what blessing did you do? What blessing?
When you're exhausted, what blessing?
But I feel like in general, children bring a certain sense of responsibility to you, that when you go before people who are supposed to give you maybe financial rewards or a job or a gig, you speak differently when you have a child and when you don't have a child. There's I don't know how to explain, but even when you don't know whether somebody looks like they have a child, the way they speak, they want it so bad until they need school fees. So they will give you so much more in that deal. Say, if you employ me, I will be able to, because you want
To work every day.
You want to work every day so that you can have some food for your children to eat. And yet when you have somebody who doesn't really care, they're just like, yeah, whatever, you know. So, but or they're just fronting themselves. They're not, there's a certain hunger that comes when you have children and you just want, you need to get this job, you need to get this work. Even that disappointment you feel, or even like those things like, you know, when they don't allow to give you a job or a gig. You even go back and send an email, dear this one, kindly let me know what it is in particular that could have caused me not to receive this. So that next time you know exactly what to do. That hunger usually only comes when you have children and you have mouths to feed. So I feel like our blessings came
because of the hunger.
Because of the hunger, but the hunger was because of the children.
It's hard to point out. It's part of the ecosystem, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the way you breathe, inhale and exhale. The blessings are evident. Do you know how you see? Let the children go and spend a weekend at Jaja's and the house is empty. You should see me and Emma. Suddenly we're aware that the house is too clean. We used to complain it was dirty. The house is so clean. There's no dirty plate in the sink. Do we need all this time alone?
Right.
And so therefore, I suppose children should also galvanize you into planning your time. So next time the children go, Emma and I should plan, let us go on a safari together. Because you should not be in the house together. The house is reminding you of what
the emptiness.
You go away.
Yes.
They're away, you go away. Because sometimes we focus so much on let the children be happy, let the children, and then when they're gone, you're like, okay, we haven't focused on what we need, all right? This year is changing. Oh, yes. Do you know why? We got their birth certificates. What comes after birth certificates?
Passports.
Of course. Holiday time. We are in it to win it.
Right.
So that's true. You have to really plan. Right. And when I was single and without children, I never used to plan my day. Other people would plan for me and it was okay. I could go home anytime. I would go home earliest at 10 p.m. Because anything anyone wanted, I was available for that.
Right.
Anything anyone wanted. Any trip that involved me leaving at 6 a.m. and going away for 2 weeks didn't matter.
That's fine.
But now I think, will it be holiday time? School time? This? What if they call back to your phone? Oh my goodness, you see?
Right.
And there's that. What did they teach me? They taught me how to do the floss. Are we allowed to stand and I show people?
Yes.
Are we allowed? I don't want the current people to say, I learned the floss.
Okay.
If you have children of that age,
you should know
this is the blessing that came. I don't want to lose my dancing ability, so the floss is this. Can they see me? My children, my eldest two, taught me this. That's a blessing. I remain who I am. I'm a dancer. I'm creative. Right. They're trying to teach me that I'm a piano. We're not there yet.
So in terms of blessing, I feel like for many people around, even myself, because you have more people in your family, the finances change. Yes. And this is from God, guys. We can't play around about it. He has brought the children, he's going to provide for them. Right. So I feel financial blessings are what most of us have experienced. Yes. Right. You are younger, you had more money, disposable income, but if you had the same expenses now with that money, you wouldn't go through it. So for most of us, the opportunities are more, maybe you're pushing harder. Yes. The finances get better. Yes. I think you're more hungry. But
you're more focused.
Yeah. Sure, I feel like with my children, more opportunities have come. My finances are better. And generally living a better life.
To be even better.
Have more children.
More children.
We now have the solution.
So magnanimous that it's just... I'm shimmering, but I do understand that the provision has to come. Yes. Right. Yes, the provision. Yes.
It does make sense. You know, when you say it from that, like, where does the hunger come from? Yeah, we say it's the children, but essentially, it's from God, because the truth is, the older you get, the more opportunities you get, the more money you get, and there are times when you can go through a year. We do a thing with Brian at the end of the year where we kind of look at like our expenses. We're like, we earned this.
Yes.
Like, how did you spend this?
Oh, you earned it.
Yes, you couldn't have spent what you didn't earn. Yes. So when you look at what you've spent, that's why I love keeping receipts, because it's hard to track when you're just looking at your income. You don't know that you were there and someone gave you like a random gig, which you didn't write, which you didn't take note of.
That out loudly.
No, not like that.
You never recorded. I don't think you want to mention that you did not record the income you received.
You didn't record the income you received. I apologize. Or if it was a gift, like someone's like, oh,
okay,
Bev, I was feeling you.
Here is 5
I was going to say 500.
Oh, no, please, 5 million.
Please, we are thinking millions.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Barbara Manuela, we've agreed that there are a few things we may have put on hold, right?
Right.
How do we get back on track? Is it possible? Right. Do we need to get back on track and pursue those things? Maybe those things weren't important. They're irrelevant in the grand scheme of these huge blessings. Yeah. Do we need to get back on track, or are the children enough?
To be honest, I feel that maybe I shouldn't have been put on pressure to pursue them. Yeah, I love bump love, no doubt. I don't want to come for me in the comment section. I love you guys. But it's meant, for example, that on a Friday like today, when it's a happy day, a holiday for Blake and Bianca, they're here.
Yes.
Filming with us. Yes. Can I come out and say, by the way, my children are learning how to do videography and photography, and they come with me to work, and they are very resilient, and they... No. I really feel like there's a certain part of their childhood that I've stolen away from them to be able to pursue my dreams. Now, I'm constantly in a place where I'm just like, Lord, I pray my children never regret this. You know, those things where after I've done all these things and I'm well accomplished, then my children are giving a testimony. My mom she was never... She carried us to work, and we never had a childhood. All we did was work. And she said she was doing this for children and mothers and showing them. But what about us? We did. So I struggle with some of those things that, what are the chances that they might look at me one day and go like, you cheated us of our childhood. Yeah.
Right.
So many things make our life full and complete. Work, relationships, social life, going, working out, looking after our physical bodies, civic duty, fulfills us spiritually, which are many of the things that lose out. So to your question, are they important? Yes. Were they glass and crystal balls at that time? No. But they were balls for a reason. We need everything. So it's possible to rebuild or to start new friendships completely.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like in the last few years, I've made very good social networks, very good friends. I'm so happy, proud to have them. But the time was there. I mean, my youngest is 11, going to be 12 this year. So I have the time.
Now.
I have the time now to tell her, I'm going for dinner with my friends. And I'll go out guilt-free because she probably didn't even want her mother looking over her shoulder. She wants to watch all her programs or get out of bed at midday without someone saying, is this the time you wake up? Will you manage to look after her home? Yeah. So, I mean, we had all those. Oh, yeah. So, yes, you do. It's possible. It's possible to pick up and work. Now, I take work up country. I have done events out of Uganda because I can sit and tell them, look, I need to be away for a week, but this is how we're going to go about it. This is how you're going to eat. This is what you need. Call me every day. I need to see this. And then you have friends, that support system. Come and check on them, or you can get them and take them to someone's house now because they're independent. They're very independent.
That's amazing,
yes. So it is possible to pick yourself up, and it is very important to pick yourself up.
It is important.
Otherwise, you get to a point in life later when you're blaming the children and saying, I gave up everything for you. Did they ask?
Right.
Did they ask?
Did they?
No, you felt it was right at that time, and maybe it was selfish for you at that time because it fulfilled a certain part of you. But after that season has passed, please pick yourself up and regain all these things again.
I love that.
Because I have 4 daughters, I'm acutely aware that I have to consciously be a certain way because there are 4 young women in my house. They're watching and they're going to model. They know, what are you, mommy? The 7-year-old say, a poet. And you speak. So they know that's the work I do. A writer. That's constant. But what is my behavior even around that? And my eldest said, mommy, when you're happy, we are happy. They know when I'm not happy. The energy is dark in the house when mommy's not happy.
In a corner.
From Emma to the youngest. And therefore, it's important for me to constantly be at the pinnacle, but not radiant all the time, that's artificial, but to be at a space where I am not abandoning myself. Because you abandon yourself when you're saying yes to everybody else. And therefore, I will say no as often as I can because I want them to know you're allowed to say no when you don't mean it. And my children are confident. They will say, no, mommy, why do you want us to do that now? It's not right. No, I was doing my homework. Do you know it's okay? Because I wasn't that person and it affected me. Because now I am building such a wonderful relationship with them because it's genuine, they're confident, it's sincere. My eldest daughter knows I'll never open her diary at all. Even if it's on the table, I put it on your bed because the moment that is broken, you can't bring it back. And therefore, in all of this, getting back on track, because now my youngest turns 7 in June, is that I keep telling them, now I'm consciously applying for PhDs because I can.
You can,
I can do this. And I can go to bed at 7, wake up at 3 in the morning, be in bed at 7 p.m. because Emma will be there. He does the evening duty. I hear them laughing, they play chess with him, and they know that's mommy's time to be in bed. She'll watch a comedy series, read a book, or just be laying still. So those are things that, back on track, I'm going back to, this is what I really want to be. I like to read and have my quiet time. I like to wake up early. I go in the morning, I'll take a walk for 2 hours, leave them in the house, the 4 of them alone, or with Emma. So getting back on track, yes, I'm doing those things again that was so important that I couldn't do before because how long will she be asleep for? How much work do I have before I come back and breastfeed? But now I can walk for 2 hours, even in the drizzle, and it's all right. I can go to bed early and leave them awake for 2 hours with Emma, and it's all right. Besides, they don't want me to teach them chess. No one does. And so, yes, I'm getting back on track and I'm writing again. I've written the 3rd draft of my 3rd book already because they know, I'm on the laptop, go. Okay, maybe not that, but they know, go outside right now because I am doing, but I can afford to do that.
I like the notion that because I can. This is one of the things that I'm saying these days. Like I'm going to do this because I can. Because there was a time that I couldn't.
Yes.
Recently, they were not well, these flus and coughs.
Yes.
And because they can read and write,
Yes.
I was like, give me their medicine. I wrote there 8 a.m., 4 p.m.,
Thank you.
midnight. This is the time you're supposed to take
Yes.
your medication. You now can read a clock.
Yes.
Good? Good. Take medicine. Where is 5 ml here? It is now,
yes.
I don't, you remember how we would administer medicine? And you know what? They take even better.
Yes.
Mommy, it's 8. Mommy, it's 8.
I
It's
know.
now exactly 8 I need to take. And yet, me, when it was me, I would come waltzing in at 8:45.
And the 5 milliliters, I don't find the medicine cup. Where's the tablespoon?
Yes.
It's around 1.5 tablespoons here. Take it. But where's the...
The cover of the syrup.
That's the 5 milliliters I need to know.
No, you don't even know. You're like,
You're just like,
I can't
actually
find a
using
spoon.
that
I
cover.
can't find. You're like, let's use the cover. In my eyes, this cup,
Yes.
2 covers is 5 mils.
The medicine is, but okay, won't take that one.
7.5 or 8 or whatever. You're like, it will
Don't
get
get
sorted.
Fine. Yeah. So those things that held us back.
Yes.
I like when you talked about the fact that motherhood is a season.
It's a
Really.
season.
Yes.
It's full of seasons.
Yes.
And you need to know which season you're in
Yeah.
before you start wanting as another person's season for your current season. So I like the season that I'm in. I feel like the children are very independent. They have their own minds. They have their own opinion. They're also starting now to really diverge, because I lived in a time when Bianca wanted to do everything Blake does, so that we can compare and pick the best. But I feel like now
Wonder where she got that from.
Really? Yes, I am competitive. So I think now she's going in a place where she's like, okay, fine. Blake loves football. I love basketball. So they are kind of diverging in who they are, and I like that, because then that means whatever I need to do, I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
you can. Because you can, that's enough. Because you can,
Yeah, because
that's
you
it.
can, yeah.
But now, knowing what you guys know, is there anything you would have done different?
With this child, I gained 10 kilograms, which means I am 40 kilograms heavier than from my first child, which is 88 pounds, depending on the metric you use. What would I have done differently? I would have been more conscious that there's a Greek diet which is healthy and which supports healthier choices for the body.
And avoid the 10 kilos.
That's what I'd have changed. Instead of saying, I'm a mother, the breastfeeding will make me lose weight. When I stop taking obushera, hey, those are just women's myths that don't work. If I had known, because now I know a Greek diet is important, and I know about Russian twists. Russian twists are the most arduous exercise you will ever do. 1 month later, you'll see me. 1 month after these Russian twists.
Today.
So I wish I knew more about those exercises instead of waiting on the breastfeeding. And then you'll be able to. It's like you're waiting for nothing. When does
And
this?
when it
You have to
doesn't happen,
consciously make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd have done differently, especially for my physical body and the diet. Instead of saying, I'm breastfeeding, let me eat everything. No.
A flask of katoko
Because-
and a flask
thank you.
of bushera.
Yes. Yes.
But that was the season.
Yes.
I mean, in seasons. Knowing what I know now, I would have owned the season, the stage, and I would have owned my decision.
Yes.
It is my decision to spend more time with the child and lose out on the rest of the things.
Yes.
As opposed to spending more time with the child, and then when you bump into a friend or a relative and they're like, we don't see you these days, you walk away feeling guilty.
Yes. Same.
Or every time you think of something you're missing out on, oh, I'm not going to the gym anymore because I have a baby, then you're feeling guilty for neglecting your body.
Yeah.
I would own the season, own my decisions for that time, and say, when this season passes, I will do all the other things that I've dropped. And I think it gives you more peace.
Of course.
More
You're more forgiving.
Self-awareness.
Yes, you're more forgiving because you
yes.
know this is now, more will come.
Yes.
Every time you see pictures and videos of people out having a good time and you've chosen to stay with the baby or with the child for that time, I would not feel guilty.
Yes.
I'd be like, I'll be back.
Yes.
Season 2.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
And you, by the way,
Season 2.
and you can
Yes.
pause your social media for that time. You know, you can pause it
So that you're not
and then you
stressed.
get back.
Yes. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
really it would be to own
Yes, good.
the decisions
Absolutely.
and the season.
Right.
Yeah.
I swear that was my.
No.
No, but that I think that one of the things that I would probably have done different was to put less pressure on myself, to try and make my life before the children be exactly the same as my life after the children. I feel like there was, even when Brian was pushing me, I could do it because deep down inside, I wanted to feel like it was, I'm normal. It's the same.
You're able.
I'm able. I have the ability and I can do it. I can do all things. I honestly feel that there was an internal pressure to make my life the same. And therefore, I didn't enjoy the stages. I didn't enjoy the seasons. Many of the moms that I meet right now, I tell them, by the way, even if you put yourself on pressure, the truth is, if you're supposed to have gotten a certain job, a certain promotion, after 3 years, even if you put yourself on pressure with the child newborn, you'll still get it
In 3 years.
in 3 years. So if I were you, sit down and enjoy the current season. I tell so many moms, I tell them, Mom, smell your newborn child. Smell them. Take it in. Because one day you're going to wake up and they're 12 years old. They're 21. When they're sick and not okay, go full swing in it. Go all the way. Because there's a time they'll be unwell and you'll just hear it on a WhatsApp group. Why? Because their girlfriend or their wife or their husband was in hospital with them and you don't know. And there you are on your own and alone. So at the very least you'll be like, I had my time. Yeah, now you be mchala wagundi go. Yeah, go and be this. Such not a problem. Now you're the one who wants to be in hospital. My son loves this drink. Now you're fighting with the wife. Right? Because you missed a certain you missed out on time. So right now I'm in a place where I am I want to enter in deeply. Sports day, I want to wear the canvas shoe. I want to run.
Let me find blue hair ribbons, necklace, and flowers.
Yes, and those days I used to do it, but I was doing it as I want to make ticking a box. I want to make things normal, that I can do it. Then after that I go and work. Now I want to enjoy it. I want to fall in the mud. I want to engage completely in the process of in the stage that I'm in of motherhood, fully knowing that a few years from now, I won't be in that stage.
May I say this tongue-in-cheek, that it should be an organic experience? Again, let's not put ourselves under pressure to, now that they're old enough, I'm going to make sure, by the way, if they want to play Monopoly, and I really cannot, may they understand my no, and it's okay. Otherwise, if I keep on saying, yes, they can feel but mommy's not really present, you know what I mean? Right. So let it be organic. In the same way, you'd not say yes to every request of mine. So they understand life is about saying yes and saying no. And so tongue-in-cheek, even when you say no, they'll know you're present. Enjoy them.
No,
let it be organic. Absolutely, yes.
I hear you. Let me qualify the statement. When I say that I want to enjoy the motherhood journey now. So if they say they're going to play Monopoly and I don't like to play Monopoly, that's the current journey I'm in. Okay. And that's the one I'm going to enjoy. That's the one I'm going to enjoy. That there was a time when they were playing, but the stage I was in, they were playing games that I didn't want to play. Knowing full well that a certain time is going to come later in their lives when Bianca is a young lady and probably she'll want to go out and she'll want to do something that I love to do. Then I will enjoy that season. Just being in a place where I look at, that's why I said you got my answer. when you look at the season and the time that you're in, embrace it. Whether it looks good or it doesn't look good, or you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it, it is the action of embracing it. Like, now I'm in hospital. My child is unwell. I don't like the experience, but I am here for them, that they feel good. And what can I
Yes.
find? Like even if you say, what joy can I find
In this,
in
yeah.
this?
Seeing
you
them
know?
get better.
Yeah.
That's such a joyful experience.
I agree. Like for example, now Bianca loves to sit on my lap. I don't know where it came from, but as a child, she didn't.
Oh, hey, how interesting.
Now, I could be in a place where I'm just like, no. But I asked myself, I
You're
said,
too old for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I'm even heavy. I said, am I going to take that away from her?
Yes.
I could, but I low-key enjoy it. So instead of thinking about what society is going to say about
please.
my 10-year-old, 9-year-old sitting on my lap,
Yes.
I'm not even who pulls her. I'm just like, when I come, sit here on
Yeah,
the
you
lap.
can sit on their laps also, and they love it.
How many kilos did you say?
Did I mention that?
88 pounds.
They love it. They're like,
I don't know what you're doing with your children. Maybe they're sitting on your laps or you're sitting on their laps. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we're saying that while children can be seen as a setback, think deeply. They are a blessing. And we, as Bump Love, say mothers, let us enjoy this journey called motherhood. Don't forget, Bump Love is all about conversation starters, and what you have to do is continue the conversations. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know in the comment section what you think. Are your children really a setback? For us, there are some people that do not see us as a setback, and in fact, they are proud partners of Bump Love. We want to say thank you so much to Cadia Fashions, Arija Fashions for our wardrobe. We want to thank Sununu Effect, Antina Brows for our lovely makeup, and to Zuri Luxury for this lovely, lovely hair. Until next time, with love from Bump Love. Bye-bye.